darling, just dive right in. Follow my lead. Well, I found a girl, beautiful and sweet. Well, I never knew you were the someone waiting for me. 'Cause we were just kids when we fell in love, not knowing what it was. I will not give you up this time. Darling, just kiss me slow. Your heart is all I own, and in your eyes you're holding mine. Baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass. We're listening to our favorite song. When you said you looked a mess, I whispered underneath my breath, but you heard it. Darling, you look perfect tonight. Well, I found a woman stronger than anyone I know. She shares my dreams. I hope that someday I'll share her home. I found a love to carry more than just my secrets, to carry love, to carry children of our own. We are still kids, but we're so in love, fighting against all odds. I know we'll be alright this time. Darling, just hold my hand. Be my girl, I'll be your man. I see my future in your eyes. Baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, listening to our favorite song.
Sans
When I saw you in that dress,
sans完度，还是希望度月上。
deserve this. Darling, you look perfect tonight. No, no, no. Baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, or barefoot on the grass, or listening to our favorite song. I have faith in what I see. Now I know I have met an angel in person, and she looks perfect. I don't deserve this. You look perfect tonight.
In your eyes, there's a heavy blue. One to love and one to lose. Sweet divine, the heavy truth. Water or wine, don't make me choose. I wanna feel the way that we did that summer night. Drunk on a feeling, alone with the stars in the sky. I've been running through the jungle, I've been running with the wolves to get to you, to get to you. I've been down get to you. I've been down the darkest alleys, saw the dark side of the moon to get to you, to get to you. I felt for love and every stranger took too much easy anger. All for you, yeah, all for you. I've been running through the jungle, I've been crying with the wolves to get to you, to get to you, to get to you.
Talking in my sleep at night, making myself crazy. Out of my mind, out of my mind. Wrote it down and read it out, hoping it would save me. Too many times. My love, he makes me feel like nobody else, nobody else. But my love, he doesn't love me, so I tell myself, one, don't pick up the phone, you know he's only calling cause he's drunk and alone. Two, don't let him in, you have to kick him out again. Three, don't be his friend, you know you're gonna wake up in his bed in the morning. And if you're under him, you ain't getting over him. I got no rules, I count him. I got no rules, I count him. I gotta do it for myself. I keep pushing forwards, but he keeps pulling me backwards. Nowhere to turn, nowhere to turn. No. Now I'm standing back from it, I finally see the pattern. I never loved. But my love, he doesn't love me, so I tell myself, I do. One, don't pick up the phone, you know he's only calling cause he's drunk and alone. Two, don't let him in, you have to kick him out again. Three, don't be his friend, you know you're gonna wake up in his bed in the morning. And if you're under him, you ain't getting over him. I got no rules, I count him. I got no rules, I count him. I gotta do it for myself. I got no rules, I count him. I gotta do it for myself. Practice makes perfect, I'm still trying to learn it by heart. Eat, sleep and breathe it, rehearse and repeat it. Cause one, don't pick up the phone, you know he's only calling cause he's drunk and alone. Two, don't let him in, you have to kick him out again. Three, don't be his friend, you know you're gonna wake up in his bed in the morning. And if you're under him, you ain't getting over him. I got no rules, I count him. I got no rules, I count him. I gotta do it for myself. I got no rules, I count him. Baby, you know I count him. I gotta do it for myself. You're getting over him.
You must think that I'm stupid. You must think that I'm a fool. You must think that I'm new to this. But I have seen this all before. I'm never gonna let you close to me, even though you mean the most to me. Cause every time I open up it hurts. So I'm never gonna get too close to you, even when I mean the most to you. In case you go and leave me in the dirt. But every time you hurt me, the less that I cry. And every time you leave me, the quicker these tears dry. And every time you walk out, the less I love you. Baby, we don't stand a chance. It's sad most to me. 'Cause every time I open up it hurts. So I'm never gonna get too close to you, even when I mean the most to you, in case you go and leave me in the dirt. But every time you hurt me, the less that I cry. And every time you leave me, the quicker these tears dry. And every time you walk out, the less I love you. Baby, we don't stand a chance. It's sad, but it's true. I'm way too good at goodbye. I'm way too good at goodbye. No way that you'll see me cry. I'm way too good at goodbye. No, 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 no. No way that you'll see me cry. I'm way too good at goodbye. 'Cause every time you hurt me, the less that I cry. And every time you leave me, the quicker these tears dry. And every time you walk out, the less I love you. Baby, we don't stand a chance. It's sad, but it's true. I'm way too good at goodbye. Say, hey, hey now, baby. Oh, mama, don't play now, baby. Say, hey, hey now, baby. So let's get one thing straight now, baby. Tell me if you love me or not, love me or not, love me or not. I put the house on you, am I lucky or not, lucky or not, lucky or not? You gotta tell me if you love me or not, love me or not, love me or not. I'm wishing for you, am I lucky or not, lucky or not, lucky or not? I'm wishing for you. Try to do what lovers do. I'm wishing for you. Try to do what lovers do.
Say, hey, now, baby. You gon' make me hit you with that lay down, baby. Oh, say, hey, now, baby. You know what I need off the gate now, baby.
Tell me if you love me or not, love me or not, love me or not. I put the house on you, am I lucky or not, lucky or not, lucky or not? You gotta tell me if you love me or not, love me or not, love me or not. I'm wishing for you, am I lucky or not, lucky or not, lucky or not? I'm wishing for you. Try to do what lovers do. I'm wishing for you. Try to do what lovers do. What lovers do. What lovers do. What lovers do. Are we too grown for games? Are we too grown to play around? Young enough to chase, but old enough to know better.
Are we too grown to change? Are we too grown to mess around? Oh, and I can't wait forever, baby. Both of us should know better.
Been wishing for you. Try to do what lovers do. Been wishing for you. Try to do what lovers do. Been wishing for you. Try to do what lovers do. Been wishing for you. Try to do what lovers do. you, walking towards you. With my head down, looking at the ground, I'm embarrassed for you. Paranoia, what did I do wrong this time? That's parents for you. Very loyal, should have had my back. Would you put a knife in my hands for? What else should I carry for you? I care for you, but on the edge right now. I wish that I could say I'm proud. I'm sorry that I let you down. Let you down. All these voices in my head get loud. I wish that I could shut them out. I'm sorry that I let you down. Let you down. Yeah. You don't wanna make this work, you just wanna make this worse. Want me to listen to you, but you don't ever hear my words. You don't wanna know my hurt yet. Let me guess, you want an apology, probably. How can we keep going at a rate like this? We can't, so I guess I might have to leave. Please don't come after me. I just wanna be alone right now. I don't really wanna think at all. Go ahead, just drink it all. Both know you're gonna call them all like nothing's wrong. Ain't that what you always do? I feel like every time I talk to you, you're in an awful mood. What else can I offer you? There's nothing left right now. I give it all to you. On the edge right now. I wish that I could say I'm proud. I'm sorry that I let you down. Let you down. All these voices in my head get loud. I wish that I could shut them out. I'm sorry that I let you down. Let you down. Yeah. Don't talk down to me, that's not gonna work now. Packed all my clothes and I moved out. I don't even wanna go to your house. Every time I sit on that couch, I feel like you lecture me. Eventually, I bet that we could've made this work and probably would've figured things out. But I guess I'm a letdown, but it's cool, I checked out. Oh, you wanna be friends now? Okay, let's put my fake face on and pretend now. Sit around and talk about the good times that didn't even happen. I mean, why are you laughing? Must have missed that joke, let me see if I can find a reaction. No, but at least you're happy. Feels like we're on the edge right now. Wish that I could say I'm proud. Sorry that I let you down. Oh, I let you down. All these voices in my head get loud, and I wish that I could shut them out. Sorry that I let you down. Oh, I let you down. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry now. Yeah, I'm sorry that I let you down.
Hey, Fonzie.
Oh no, ¿qué pasa de mí? Hey, yeah. Tengo en esta historia algo que confesar. Ya entendí muy bien qué fue lo que pasó. Y aunque duela tanto, tengo que aceptar que tú no eres la mala, que el malo soy yo.
No me conociste nunca de verdad. Ya se fue la magia que te enamoró. Y es que no quisiera estar en tu lugar, porque tu error solo fue conocerme.
No eres tú, no eres tú, no eres tú, soy yo.
Soy yo.
No te quiero hacer sufrir, es mejor olvidar y dejarlo así.
Así,
Échame la culpa. No eres tú, no eres tú, no eres tú, soy yo.
soy yo.
No te quiero hacer sufrir, es mejor olvidar y dejarlo así.
Así,
Échame la culpa.
okay. I don't really, really wanna fight anymore. I don't really, really wanna fake it no more. Play me like the Beatles, baby, just let it be. So come and put the flame on me.
a fighter. Cause all my life I've been fighting. Never felt a feeling of comfort. All this time I've been hiding. And I never had someone to come on. Oh, nah, I'm so used to shit. Love only left me alone. But I'm at one with the silence. I found peace in your vibes. Can't show me there's no point in trying. I'm at one, and I've been quiet for too long. I found peace in your vibes. Can't show me there's no point in trying. I'm at one, and I've been silent for too long. I've been quiet for too long. I've been quiet for too long. I found peace in your vibes. Can't show me there's no point in trying. I'm at one, and I've been quiet for too long. I'm in need of a savior, but I'm not asking for favors. My whole life I feel like a burden. I think too much and I hate it. I'm so used to being in the wrong. I'm tired of caring. Loving never gave me a home. So I sit here in the silence. I found peace in your vibes. Can't show me there's no point in trying. I'm at one, and I've been quiet for too long. I found peace in your vibes. Can't show me there's no point in trying. I'm at one, and I've been silent for too long. No, I've been quiet for too long. No, I've been quiet for too long. I found peace in your vibes. Can't show me there's no point in trying. I'm at one, and I've been quiet for too long.
Not tryna be in there, not tryna be cool, just tryna be in this. Tell me how you do. Can you feel where the wind is? Can you feel it through all of the windows inside this room? 'Cause I wanna touch you, baby, and I wanna feel you too. I wanna see the sunrise and your sins, just me and you. Light it up on the run. Let's make love tonight. Make it up, fall in love twice. But you never be alone. I'll be with you from dusk till dawn. I'll be with you from dusk till dawn. Baby, I'm right here. I want you when things go wrong. I'll be with you from dusk till dawn. I'll be with you from dusk till dawn. Baby, I'm right here. I'll be with you from dusk till dawn. Baby, I'm right here. We were shut like a jacket, so do yours. We would roll down the rapids to find a wave that fits. Can you feel where the wind is? Can you feel it through all of the windows inside this room? 'Cause I wanna touch you, baby. I wanna feel you too. I wanna see the sunrise and your sins, just me and you. Light it up.
stop it. Go give love to your body. It's only you that can stop it. Go give love to your body. It's only you that can stop it. Go give love to your body. Go give love to your body. But you'll never be alone. I'll be with you from dusk till dawn. I'll be with you from dusk till dawn. I want you when things go wrong. I'll be with you from dusk till dawn. I'll be with you from dusk till dawn. Baby, I'm
You made plans and I made problems. We were sleeping back to back. We knew this thing wasn't built to last. Yeah, good on paper, picture perfect. Chase the high too far too fast. Picket white fence, but we painted black. And I wish you would hurt me harder than I hurt you. And I wish you would wait for me, but you always do. I've been hoping somebody loves you in the ways I couldn't. Somebody's taking care of all of the mess I made. Someone you don't have to change. I've been hoping someone will love you, let me go. Someone will love you, let me go. I've been hoping someone will love you, let me go.
spend some time, but this time ain't even. I can leave it in the past, but you're holding on to what you never had. It's good on paper, picture perfect. Chase the high too far too fast. Pick a white fence, but we paint it black.
And I wish that you would hurt me harder than I hurt you. And I wish you wouldn't wait for me, but you always do. I've been hoping somebody loves you in the ways I couldn't. Somebody's taking care of all of the mess I made. Someone you don't have to change. I've been hoping someone will love you, let me go. Someone will love you, let me go. I've been hoping someone will love you, let me go. 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 Been hoping somebody loves you in the ways I couldn't. Somebody's taking care of all of the mess I made. Someone you don't have to change. I've been hoping someone will love you, let me go.
I'll admit I was wrong. What else can I say, girl? Can't you play my head and not my heart? I was drunk, I was gone. That don't make it right, but promise there were no feelings involved. She said, boy, tell me honestly, was it real or just for show? Yeah. She said, save your apologies. Baby, I just gotta know. How long has this been going on? You've been creeping around on me.
but you gotta believe me when I say it only happened once. I tried and I tried, but you'll never see that. You're the only one I wanna love. Oh yeah. She said, boy, tell me honestly, was it real or just for show? She said, save your apologies, baby, I just gotta know. How long has this been going on? You've been creeping around on me. Are you calling me baby? How long has this been going on? You've been acting so shady. I've been feeling it lately, baby. How long has it been going on, baby? You gotta go tell me now. She said, boy, tell me honestly, was it real or just for show? Yeah. She said, save your apologies, baby, I just gotta know. How long has this been going on? You've been creeping around on me. Are you calling me baby? How long has this been going on? You've been acting so shady. I've been feeling it lately, baby. How long has it been going on, baby? You gotta go tell me now. Acting so shady. I've been feeling it lately, baby.
So you're still thinking of me, just like I know you should. I cannot give you everything, you know I wish I could. I'm so high at the moment, I'm so caught up in this. Yeah, we're just young, dumb, and broke, but we still got love to give while we're young, dumb. Young, dumb, and broke. Young, dumb, and broke. Young, dumb, and broke. Young, high school kids.
Don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. I don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. All I want for Christmas is you. Yeah. I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. Don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I don't need to hang my stocking there upon the fireplace. Santa Claus will make me happy with a toy on Christmas Day. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. All I want for Christmas is you. You, baby. Oh, I won't ask for much this Christmas. I won't even wish for snow. I'm just gonna keep on waiting underneath the mistletoe. I will make a list and send it to the North Pole for Saint Nick. I won't even stay awake to hear those magic reindeer play. 'Cause I just want you here tonight, holding on to me so tight. What more can I do? Oh baby, all I want for Christmas is you. You, baby. Oh, all the lights are shining so brightly everywhere, baby. And the sound of children's laughter fills the air. And everyone is singing. I hear those sleigh bells ringing. Santa, won't you bring me the one I really need? Won't you please bring my baby to me? Oh, I don't want a lot for Christmas. This is all I'm asking for. I just wanna see my baby standing right outside my door. Oh, I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. Oh, baby, all I want for
When six. When. Hello. Mic check. Okay.
The club isn't the best place to find the lovers, so the bar is where I go. Me and my friends at the table doing shots, tripping fast, and then we talk slow. And you come over and start up a conversation with just me, and trust me, I'll give it a chance. Now take my hand, stop it, and the man on the jukebox, and then we start to dance. And now I'm singing like, girl, you know I want your love. Your love was handmade for somebody like me. Come on now, follow my lead. I may be crazy, don't mind me. Say, boy, let's not talk too much. Grab on on my waist and put that body on me. Come on now, follow my lead. Come on now, follow my lead. I'm in love with the shape of you. We push and pull like a magnet do. Although my heart is falling too. I'm in love with your body. Last night you were in my room, and now my bedsheets smell like you. Every day discovering something brand new. I'm in love with your body. 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 Every day discovering something brand new. I'm in love with the shape of you. When we came, we let the story begin. We're going out on our first date. You and me are thrifty, so go all you can eat. Fill up your bag and I fill up the plate. We talk for hours and hours about the sweet and the sour and how your family's doing okay. And leaving, getting a taxi, kissing the backseat, tell the driver make the radio play. And I'm singing like, girl, you know I want your love. Your love was handmade for somebody like me. Come on now, follow my lead. I may be crazy, don't mind me. Say, boy, let's not talk too much. Grab on my waist and put that body on me. Come on now, follow my lead. Come on now, follow my lead. I'm in love with the shape of you. We push and pull like a magnet do. Although my heart is falling too. I'm in love with your body. Last night you were in my room, and now my bedsheets smell like you. Every day discovering something brand new. I'm in love with your body. 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 Every day discovering something brand new. I'm in love with the shape of you. Come on, be my baby, come on. 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 I'm in love with the shape of you. We push and pull like a magnet do. Although my heart is falling too. I'm in love with your body. Last night you were in my room, now my bedsheets smell like you. Every day discovering something brand new. I'm in love with your body. Come on, be my baby. Come on, come on, be I'm in love with your body. Come on, be my baby. Come on, come on, be I'm in love with your body. Come on, be my baby. Come on, be I'm in love with your body. Every day discovering something brand new. I'm in love with the shape of you.
You're saying it's hopeless, that I should hope less. Heaven can help us, well maybe she might. You say it's beyond us, what is beyond us? Let's see and decide. We've been meteoric even before this. Burns half as long when it's twice as bright. So if it's beyond us, then it's beyond us. Let's see and decide. And I will still be here, stargazing. I still look up, look up, look up for love. I will still be here, stargazing. I still look up, look up, look up for love. Still be Let's make up our own minds. We've got our whole lives. Let's see and decide. Decide. And I will still be here, stargazing. I still look up, look up, look up for love. Stars don't disappear, they keep blazing. Even when the night is over, I will still be here, stargazing. I still look up, look up, look up for love. Stars don't disappear, they keep blazing. Even when the night is over, that's how I find love. That's how I find one day it's here and then it's gone. How are you still holding on? How are you still holding on? You felt this way for far too long, waiting for a change to come. You know you're not the only one. Yeah, life passes you by. Don't be wasting your time on your own.
was always the one dodging phone calls from every girl that I met in my bed. But then you came around like a brick wall. You knocked me out of my head. Had me treating my Mondays like Fridays. Had me flying so high with no smoke. Almost dreaming of you always with me. Damn it, I feel like a joke. Speaking truthfully, I'm not sure why we keep fighting. You just go blame the bad timing. Admit it to me, speaking truthfully. I love you more than you love me. Getting more of your time was a challenge. Had me begging you like a schoolboy. Started treating me like a bad habit. So now I'm left with no choice. Speaking truthfully, I'm not sure why we keep fighting. You just go blame the bad timing. Admit it to me, speaking truthfully. I love you more than you.
Hello. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first ever TEDxUSMC live event. Now, I do hope that all of you have found your way to your seats without much hassle, and that you're currently enjoying your gift bags, which were so kindly produced for you today. Just a quick note on that. The t-shirts that were assigned to you will be given out during the lunch break. There'll be a booth where you can collect your shirts later on. So that's just a little piece of information. Now, before we continue with today's event, I do have to give a quick safety briefing. The exits to the hall are located in 4 corners of the room. One to my right, one to my left, one in the top corner, and another one in the other corner. In case of an emergency, we have fire marshals who will be holding up signs in order to guide you towards safety. Fire marshals, please raise your signs. So remember these guys, they're here to help and they won't hurt you. Now, today there isn't a fire drill currently scheduled, so in the case where there is a fire, do remain calm and please await my signal before proceeding out of the hall. Your cooperation will be much appreciated in ensuring that everyone leaves the hall safely and in an orderly manner. Once you have made it safely outside the hall, please proceed down the stairs and towards the assembly point. Do take note that the elevator for today is off limits and is strictly prohibited. We'll only be using the stairs, so, we'll burn a few calories as well on the way. Now, once the situation has been diffused, once again, please await my signal before we can re-enter the hall. This is just to ensure that all danger has been eliminated and, we're safe. One little note. In addition to this, TEDxUSMC would like to request that each member of the audience either switches off their phone or turns it on to silent mode, just to ensure the cohesion of today's event and that we don't end up with some unwanted disturbances. So I'll give you all a few seconds just to make sure your phones are quiet. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for your cooperation. I'm sure we're all about to share a truly memorable day together. A day which would not have been possible without the support given by our main platinum sponsors for today's event. First of all, I'd like to thank the University of Southampton, Malaysia campus, who will be sponsoring our delicious lunch to be eaten later on today. I'd also like to thank MPH Bookstores for providing lovely gift vouchers, which you would have found in your gift bags. In addition, Noise Imaging as well for producing the lovely banners you would have seen upon arrival, and Warrior Design for providing the sound system we have today. Otherwise, you would not hear me. Your contribution and your support to the event is truly much appreciated. So, why are we here today? For some of you, this may be your 4th, your 5th, perhaps your 100th TEDx event. But for the rest of you, this could be your first. And in that case, you may be wondering, what is TEDx about? Why are we gathered here today to listen to some speakers? Well, fret not. In that case, we've prepared a quick video just to explain what TEDx is all about and what you can expect from today's event. Let's all take a look.
From Kenya to Colombia, from Iraq to Korea, in slums, in schools, in prisons, and in theaters, every day people gather at TEDx events around the world to hear the best ideas bubbling up in their communities. Today, you are part of a global conversation about our shared future. So what is this TEDx? TEDx is an initiative of the TED Conference, a non-profit devoted to ideas worth spreading. We grant free licenses to allow TED-like events to spread globally. This event today is based on the TED Conference format and ideals, but is independently organized by your local community. So please make sure to thank the team of volunteers who worked so hard on today's event. It's their ideas, dedication, and time that made it all possible. It's they who booked all the speakers, and the views you'll hear today are, of course, those of those speakers, not necessarily of TEDs. But we hope their talks spark an exciting conversation among you. This is a day for curiosity and for skepticism, for openness and for critical thinking, for inspiration and for action. The more you enter into it, the more you'll take out. And now, on with the show.
So there we have it. That's what TEDx is all about. So, if you take a look at the logo, we've explained the first half of our name. Now to complete the second half, USMC. USMC stands for the University of Southampton, Malaysia campus, and myself, being a student, along with other members of our crew, being students at the University of Southampton, we know the area quite well. So in the need where you may require a toilet or you may need to locate the prayer rooms, we've got some very capable Ask Me guys who'll be willing to answer any question you may have. So, my Ask Me men, where are you? So, throughout the day, if you got any questions, please locate these two lovely gentlemen, and they'll be very happy to assist you in any case you may need. Right, back onto USMC. What is USMC? USMC was founded back in 2012 and is focused on producing top-notch engineers. Engineers who have gone on to work for some of the most decorated companies in the world. Companies such as Rolls-Royce, such as Williams F1, and the list goes on and on. Now, as I mentioned earlier, today marks the first ever live event hosted by TEDxUSMC. And, might I add, the first ever TEDx event of its kind in the Iskandar Putri region. TEDxUSMC was only founded back in the summer of this year with the aim of incorporating a sense of community and a sense of direction into the public of EduCity. Founded by members of the Southampton University campus, TEDxUSMC has its roots in giving students a platform to engage in the true TEDx spirit and to share their ideas that are worth spreading. Myself and other members of the team have noticed that sometimes students at university, we tend to lack a sense of direction, a sense of purpose. You know, we sit in our lecture halls and we wonder, why am I here? What am I going to do after this? Am I just going to go back? Oh, okay, well, I'll find out later. In that case, our lead organizers decided to take the initiative and to bring TEDxUSMC to EduCity in order to give everyone a platform and a way to find their true direction and purpose. Now that brings me to the theme of today's event. For those of you who are here in attendance today, you would have, I hope, you would have seen that the theme of today's event is our true selves and purpose. It seems like a rather simple sentence on the surface, but once you dig deeper, it actually carries quite a heavy meaning. You know, we may think that, okay, we're just that guy who wakes up and we have to go to class. That's our goal for today. But no, beneath the surface, it is much, much more than that. And today, we're here to decipher the mystery of what our true selves and what our purpose actually means. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce the first speaker for today, Nadia Hasbi. Nadia is certainly someone who's discovered themselves and understood what determination and hard work can do for you. Nadia is the founder and CEO of Fit Rebel Sportswear. Interestingly, Nadia never anticipated being a designer, let alone an entrepreneur, as she had a corporate world, working in Sao Paulo, Brazil. But there was something lacking, something that would spark the happiness within Nadia. And that one thing came in the form of a product. Now, this product could be considered unorthodox, unusual. I myself was taken aback when I first heard what brought such happiness into Nadia's life. And today, we're lucky enough to have Nadia with us to share how she founded Fit Rebel and how hard work can get you to where you want to be. Now, if some of you are still wondering what exactly this unorthodox product is, worry no more. Nadia's wearing it right now, and she'll be right here to explain everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. When I was younger, it was these two little words, why not, that got me into a lot of trouble. I would either drink a little bit too much, party a little bit too hard, or sometimes go on spontaneous road trips where I got myself into even more trouble. But 10 years later, with time and perspective, it is these two little words that has led me down a journey of self-discovery to reinvent myself and is leading me to be the best version of myself that I can possibly be. Hi everyone, my name is Nadia, and I'm the founder and CEO of FitRebel.com. And we produce what I believe is the most gorgeous sportswear in the world. And our intention is to encourage women to work out more often and to lead happier and healthier lives. And what sets us apart from other sportswear is that our sportswear feature designs that were hand-drawn and painted by traditional batik artists of Malaysia. This wasn't always my dream. I never imagined that I would be an entrepreneur or have my own business. In fact, I was the girl in the black suit, and my ambition was to make it to the top of the corporate ladder. But life had a different plan for me, and I had to learn to trust myself, to trust the journey, and go down the path that was meant for only me. My journey starts in Brazil, where I was working in Sao Paulo, and working in Sao Paulo for an oil and gas and engineering firm. And my plan was to stay there for as long as I can and make my way up the corporate ladder. So I love my life, and I love my job. For fun, I was buying Brazilian bikinis and sending them to my friend in Malaysia, where he would sell it online. And it was doing quite well. One day I was on the phone with my dad, and I was telling him about this small side thing that I was doing. My dad, he's quite conservative and a bit old-fashioned, but he was very amused, and he was very supportive. So he said to me, if you see potential in this, why not go and talk to the owners and see if you can be the exclusive distributor for this brand in Malaysia? So I thought to myself, why not? The opportunity was there. I was already in Brazil, and I had nothing to lose. So I set up a meeting with the owners, and I wasn't sure how seriously they would take this because I had no experience in retail whatsoever, but I did love their brand. So I had a meeting with them, and I pitched my idea, and much to my surprise, they agreed. So as soon as I found out the good news, the first thing I did was call my dad, and I shared this with him. And he was excited, he was ecstatic, and he offered to register a business entity for me in Malaysia for me to do my transactions through. And that was what he did. But unfortunately, that was one of the last things that my dad ever did for me because he died tragically soon after. It was very sudden, very unexpected, and I can still remember flying back from Brazil to Malaysia in complete shock and disbelief. So after the funeral, I decided to move back from Brazil to Malaysia for two reasons. Reason number one, my mom suffers from a condition called dystonia. So she is unwell, and her condition is similar to Parkinson's, where her muscles shake involuntarily, and she's dependent on others to get about her daily life. So when my dad was still around, it was him that was her caretaker, and now the responsibility lies on my brother and I. And the second reason why I decided to come home is because the last thing that my dad did for me before he passed away was to register a business. I felt that it was almost as if his dying wish and a legacy that I had to see through for me and for him. So in 2013, I moved from Brazil back to Malaysia. I quit my job at the oil and gas and engineering firm, and I launched my business. So after the launch, we were actually doing quite well, and sales was growing on a month-on-month basis. And I thought I knew what the future had in store for me, but I could not be any wrong. In 2014, something that happened that turned my life upside down, and not in a good way. I was engaged to be married to my Brazilian fiancé, and that didn't happen. So as the date got closer to our wedding day, it dawned on him, reality hit him that he had to leave his family in Brazil, he had to leave his friends, his job, his life. And he realized that he couldn't go through with it, so he called off the wedding. And I suppose when it rains, it pours, because a few weeks later, I was in a conference call with the Brazilian brand that I was working for, and they were going through a few changes, and I was informed that I couldn't continue doing business with them anymore. So just like that, in a matter of weeks, I lost the man that I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with, and I lost my business. And what took place after that is a period that I can only describe as the darkest and the most difficult period of my life. So just imagine this. I lost my dad not too long ago. I lost my fiancé, and I lost my business. I felt as if I've lost everything. The days that followed would be something like this. I would wake up in the mornings, and everything that happened would just come rushing to me, and all I could do was cry and cry and cry. And I would cry until I was so tired that I would pass out. And when I regained conscious again, everything just came running back to me again, and I would cry and cry and cry again. Interestingly enough, during this period, the only time when I wasn't sad was when I was working out. I had a personal trainer at that time, and we were lifting weights. So any one of you that goes to the gym and lift weights know that when you're lifting heavy weights, you can't think about how sad you are or how your heart's breaking. You had to concentrate on lifting the weights, otherwise you will get injured pretty badly. So whenever I had these sessions, I was fully present and just focused on what I had to do, and I was calm and at peace. And every time after my workouts, I would have endorphins running through my body, and I felt good. So what happened after that is that I decided to work out every day. So I went running, I went rock climbing, I did yoga, I joined a community that played team sports regularly. And I was surrounded by a community of positive and healthy people. Some of them knew what I was going through, and they were very supportive. So as I exercised daily, I started to feel better. As my body got stronger, so did my mind and my soul. So from the first month where I was crying every day, I moved on to the second month where I cried every other day, the third month where I cried once every 3 days, and by the fourth month, I was okay. And I attribute a big part of my healing process to exercising every day. So when I got back to my normal self, I had to face reality and face the fact that I lost my business. What was I going to do for the rest of my life? I never forgot the fact and the commitment I made that the reason why I started my business in the first place was in memory of my dad. So I wasn't going to quit. No way, that was not an option. And I looked at what options I had, which were essentially two. I could either try and find another brand to work with, or I could do my own thing. So Albert Einstein said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And I didn't want it to be a case where I found another brand, I spent 2 years building it, only to risk losing it all over again. That would be complete insanity. So the only real choice I had was to do my own thing, start my own brand. And another friend said to me once that a startup or a business is usually an extension of the founder's personality. And I looked at my other friends that were running startups, and I found that to be true. So then I started thinking, What is it that I can do that is authentic to me, that I can contribute the most back to my community? And I thought about my journey. I thought about how I've always been active and how exercising regularly has helped me through one of the darkest periods of my life. And whenever I exercise, I would always wear fun and colorful outfits like that. And on some days, just putting them on made me feel better. And when I talked to my friends, they would also tell me that whenever they had cute and attractive activewear, like it excites them and they can't wait for their next workout. So that's when I decided that, all right, I want to create the most beautiful activewear in the world to encourage women to be more active. And the reason why is because if exercise can help me go through one of the darkest periods of my life in a positive way, that was what I wanted for everyone. So, okay, beautiful activewear. What is beauty? Art is beautiful. But art has been displayed on activewear in some form or the other, so that wasn't exciting. So I spent weeks thinking about it. What is it that I can do that is special and unique? And one day, it was almost as if the skies cleared, the heavens opened up, and a ray of light shone from above down on me with this idea. Nadia, try putting bate on activewear. And when I got that idea, it was almost like a light bulb moment, like an explosion in my head, and I got really excited because I'm Malaysian, and bate is a traditional textile art and a craft of Malaysia, which is my cultural heritage. And number two, bate is beautiful and it's versatile. So I knew that it would be accepted internationally and that if done just right, I could produce something spectacular. So I got about the business of doing it. I got in touch with a community of bate artists and I explained my idea. And I think some of them were perplexed, but they were amused and they went on this journey with me and we started the design process. And then it came to prototyping. I have no experience in fashion or design. I had no idea what I was doing. And I thought, because a product like leggings already exists, it would probably take me only 2 weeks to come up with a prototype, right? Again, I was completely wrong, and it took me almost 1 year. And the reason why was because I was very particular about what I wanted. I wanted the fabric to be soft, yet durable. And when we transferred the artwork onto the spandex, I still wanted it to look like hand-drawn and painted art. And number three, because the leggings were meant for exercise, we had to get them stress tested on different sort of exercise and workouts. So stress testing itself took a couple of months. And as we're prototyping, you do have your prototyping bloopers. So in this photo here is a really bad camel toe. And in the next photo is a flower on the crotch. So I don't understand why anyone could think that it was a good idea to have a flower on the crotch, but that was what I had to go through. So after a year, my prototypes were ready and they were good. And to raise funds, I put my project on an online crowdfunding site and I managed to raise 24,000 ringgit in 45 days. So in August of 2016, my line, Sunny by Fit Rebel, was born. And since then, I've been receiving a lot of positive feedback. The reason why I created this line in the first place was to encourage women to be more active and to lead healthier and happier lifestyles. And that was exactly what it achieved. I would receive feedback from customers, like as the months went by, telling me that when they received their package and when they opened it, when they saw the colorful colors, it made them happy and excited, and they couldn't wait for their next workout. And I not only wanted to produce workout that was beautiful, but I wanted to excite and delight my customers whenever I could. And for me, it's the little things that matter. So I would try to find the little things that I could do to surprise and delight my customers. So for example, what I did is if my customers wanted their orders quickly, I would call for an Uber and get it delivered to them in an hour. And since then, FitRebel.com has been nominated by Time Out Kuala Lumpur as one of the best local online stores in 2016. We have been featured in The Edge, which is Malaysia's most reputable business publication. And I've also been featured in Malaysian Tatler. And Female Magazine Malaysia has also nominated me as one of the new Malaysian icons. Internationally, I have been featured in Yoga Magazine of UK. And since then, I have also expanded to the UK. Which brings me to the present day and just some take-home messages that I would like to share with you. So number one, follow your curiosity. Like I said, I never imagined that I would be an entrepreneur or have my own business. Life showed me a completely different path, and I followed my curiosity down that path. And being here today and reflecting on that journey, I know for sure that I was meant to be here and to do exactly what it is that I'm doing now. And my wish for all of you is that one day, if you have inspiration, if something hits you so strongly, pursue it with everything that you've got, and I promise you that you will go on the best adventure of your life. Number two, your intentions matter. So I explained why I decided to create my brand. And you get in life whatever you give. And my intention was to create happy people, happy, healthy, healthier people. And when you give good vibes, you get good vibes. And to see my movement grow and how I am impacting people in a positive way is one of the most fulfilling things ever. And number three, the little things matter. So I said that I would try to find the little things to surprise and delight my customers. And one last example that I would like to leave you with is sometime last year in December, one of my batik artists created an exceptionally beautiful painting. I took a photo of it and I shared it on social media. Someone in Germany saw it and he asked if I could make a copy of that photo to send to him in Germany. I didn't think too much about it. It was not too difficult. It was not a big deal. So I got my artist to make a copy of the painting, and we sent it to him in Germany. And a few days later, I got an email from him. He's a cancer survivor. And in winter in Germany, the days are dark, it's cold, and it's depressing. He hangs the painting in his living room, and when he sees it every day, the bright and cheerful colors makes him feel happier, and it helps him heal. And that's when I realized that the little things that may not necessarily matter too much to me may mean a lot to other people. So to wrap up, it is these two little words that has led me down my journey of self-discovery, and I hope that you can find it in you to ask yourself this question and to lead yourself to be the best possible version of yourselves that you can be. Thank you for your attention.
Wow. Thank you very much, Nadia. That certainly was a very powerful way to kick off the first ever TEDxUSMC live event. As we heard, Nadia has had to battle through many hardships, but through all the battles and through all the wars, Nadia has not only found a way to bring happiness into her life, but she's found a way to bring happiness into the lives of others as well. That is something truly incredible. Nadia has taken the theme of today and she's expanded upon it. She's given back to the community, which is what we're all here to do as well. She just showed that when you put your mind into something, it does not matter where you come from. It does not matter what you've been through. As long as the effort is there, the determination is there, you can achieve what you want to, whether it be unique or not. It's all down to your hard work. Another individual who's also had a unique journey of his own is Santa Santosh Avanava. Santa has too understood what you can achieve when you put your mind to it. Santa initially began as a consultant and a soft skills trainer, but now Santa is the proud Chief Commercial Officer of Cutie Pie Robotics. Previously, Santa had some work as a researcher at the University of Eindhoven, University of Twente in the Netherlands, as well as the Indian Institute of Technology in Bangalore. From his research, Santa has produced well over 25 research papers, both nationally and internationally. And throughout all this, Santa has still found some time to fit in a fictional writing career. Yes, Santa is too a fictional author. It's quite a lot. One thing I do like about Santa is that he shares something in common with us today. Santa is actually a TEDx organizer, and he himself has spoken at a couple of TEDx events before, which makes him a very well-experienced TEDx presenter. Today, he is here to present his talk, Dreams and Aspirations, the 6 career success mantras, and they are the steps that Santa took himself to being in the position where he is today. So, without further ado, let's welcome Santa onto the stage.
Mic. Check. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you. Good morning to all of you. I'm audible? Can you hear me? Okay. I request all of you to turn this side to the wall and put your hand on your friend's shoulder. Turn like this. Turn other side. No, like this. Like a train. Like a bogies, right? Put your hand on your friend's shoulder and give a gentle massage to your friend. Yeah. Turn on the other side and massage your friend back. Yeah, give a nice gentle massage. Let them feel good and relax. Yeah, turn this side. I asked you to massage here, not here. You know what happens when you massage here? I am 21-year-old. As much as this statement looks true and false, our dreams are like that, which is true. So let me begin with you a very simple, silly, and stupid question. Do you have dreams? Not those dreams which you see in the sleep in the night. When you get up in the morning and say, Dad, I was getting married to a prime minister's daughter, and you woke me up. Neither those dreams which you see in the class every day when you attend your lectures. You sit and see your professor like this, and your professor is thinking you're deeply looking into my eyes and listening to my lecture. But you're lost in some other dream, thinking of which movie to go and which pub to watch and what to do in the evenings. I'm not talking about those dreams. I'm talking about dreams, something which you want to do. When I ask this question to a lot of students in college and schools, typically the students who sit in the first row, typically they get up and say, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer, or I want to be an artist, and something like this. And they're typically very much focused. When I ask people who are sitting in the middle rows, they are generally influenced by the first row and the last row. And they always be influenced by parents or the society. If somebody says IT is doing well, all I want to become IT engineers. People in the last rows are very interesting people I have found in the world. They sit in the last bench in the class, and they're very creative because they'll be thinking of national and international problems of human beings. They're trying to solve the problems of society and system, and they want to change the world. So you see that the same set of students who are undergoing a course are dreaming something different. So let me begin you with a journey of a very interesting story I'm going to tell you. I'm sure when you're young, probably like sometime in your life, your parents would have asked you, what is your dream? I'm sure they would have asked you, I'm sure. Yes? Yeah. So I was in my 8th standard. One day my father called me and said, Dad, son, come here. I went to my dad. I said, yes, Dad. Son, tell me what is your dream? And I was very little naughty in my school, and I was putting my head down and rolling my eyes like this. So my father said me, tell me what is your dream? Then I told my dad, I'm feeling very shy to tell you what is my dream is. My father said, don't worry, I'm your father. Any doubt why you are so shy to tell me? I told my dad, Dad, I don't have any doubt you are my father, but do you have any doubt I'm your son? You never know what happens in life. So my father said, shut up and tell me what is your dream is. So I looked into my dad's eye and I said, Dad, I want to be a house husband. So my father asked me, why do you want to become a house husband? I said, if you become house husband, the life is very simple. My father asked me how. I said, get up in the morning, make a little tea, send your wife to the office. Once she goes to the office, the whole home belongs to you. Put television on and watch various serials, serial 1, serial 2, serial 3. And after that, have nice lunch, take a small nap for 3-4 hours, get up in the evening, go to the neighbor auntie's house and discuss next serial what will happen or how it's going to happen. Once that is over, go for shopping with your wife. Don't buy anything because you have to waste your time tomorrow again. See, life is so interesting. I said, so simple. My father looked at me and smiled and said, you could be the first house husband of India, and all the best, he said me. Anyway, I'm not house husband. Don't take it seriously. So when I asked you a question, let us go back to the same question. What is your dream? Typically, I see that many students will say me that I want to be engineer or a doctor or something like that. But my question was not about just one dream, because that is something you're going to be. My question was like, don't you want to own a house? Don't you want to travel different places? Don't you want to make interesting property? Because good people should do good things, because they're going to make a difference to the system and society. So, but there is a difficulty with this kind of an particular dream, because this dream has a challenge. The challenge is this. It's called as perception. You know what is perception? The way people think about you, the way you allow people to think about you also. And there is a story with perception with prescription. I was in my high school, and one day I got up from my bed. I went to my dad, and my dad was reading a newspaper typically in 1980s and 1990s. The television was limited. So he was reading his newspaper. I went to my dad. I said, Dad, I have a dream. And my father looked at me and asked me, what is your dream? I said, Dad, I want to go to London. He started reading the newspaper very seriously after that. Like, for example, if you get up in the morning and say, Dad, I want to marry the beautiful actress in the world, he can only listen and sympathize with you, but he cannot do anything else. And that is an unfortunate part of life. So I got very annoyed as a child. I took the newspaper, I threw aside. I said, Dad, I have a dream. Then my father said, why do you want to go to London? Then I said, Dad, there's something called London Bridge. Have you heard? He nodded my head. I'm sure all of you know London Bridge. Okay, let's assume this to be London Bridge. I said, Dad, I want to go to London Bridge, stand on a London Bridge, and sing a song, London Bridge is falling down. So my father smiled at me, put his hand on the purse. I'm sure you all be happy when father gives you money, right? So took out his purse, and he thought for a while, and then he gave me $2. I said, Dad, I want to go to London. What is this? My father smiled at me and said, Son, there is a bridge near our house. Go practice there first. If you're successful there, you're successful in London. Go practice, he said. As a child, I was very annoyed and I started showing my tantrums because we want to get our wish fulfilled. So I told Dad, from today onwards, I'll not go to school at all. I'll not talk to you, I said. He said, thank God, my money is saved. Don't go to school. Sit at home, he said. Then that did not work out. Then I thought, let me try something else. Then I said, Dad, from today onwards, I'll not talk to you. He said, a lot of peace at home. Don't talk, sit quiet. Then I thought, let me try something else. I said, Dad, today onwards, I will not eat food at all at home. He said, wait for a moment. He called my mother and said, from today onwards, don't give him food. Let him die and sacrifice for us. Let him become martyr of our home. Let us put a garland and say that my son sacrificed and saved our lives. I got really annoyed again. I said, Dad, this is not fair. Your child has dream and you don't listen to you understand your dream. And my father said, see, son, I did not dream to send you to London. Why should I send you? You dreamt, you go, he said. I was like, Dad, you are a father, you should fulfill. I did not write a board and say, when you're born, I should send you to London. So I'm not going to send you, he said. So I took many years to understand why it is important to keep your dream. But he told me one thing he said was, don't forget that people will break your dreams like the way I'm breaking you today. Going to London may be a great idea, but for me, I don't know why you want to go to London. But keep this alive for many years. After several years, I was thinking about this. Sometime I want to go to London and go to London Bridge and do this. After about a decade time, I went to London Bridge myself. I stood on a London Bridge and I sang that song. Remember my father would saying that several ideas fail in mind, not in your dreams, because you allow them to fail. So this was my first success story. I remember has to tell you a small story that you won't see your dream and you try to fulfill those dreams. And so this was a message which I carried my father that he said, when you dream and fulfill them, you tell the stories of success to the world. But it's not still very easy to do this. This was a very simple example to tell you. Let me bring you some 3 interesting examples where people have dreamt very interesting. Otherwise, they could have been people like you and me. The first one. Can you tell me who is he? Who is he? Yeah, I didn't ask what is his name. So when I ask you who is he, I'm sure some of you will tell that he was so-and-so, right? Because he's known across the world. But when I ask you what was he before that, probably most of us don't know. That means to tell that he was a son of a farmer, then he did a lot of odd jobs, probably he did a lot of struggles, and he did a lot of interesting journey, and then he went to become a very interesting person, the President of the United States of America. Second, I'm sure you read about her. She was a woman who was deaf, dumb, and blind, and then she went to become a world-renowned writer in a language called as Greek. Let us look at a third example. This is an Indian woman. She's still alive, and she underwent. She's a polio by accident for early age, and then she underwent about so many surgeries, and then she has won several gold medals in Paralympics. So what I'm trying to stress a point here is this. We all are in the first box today. We are known by our names. We are known by some kind of an association. And we are going to be somebody else in future. But unfortunately, many times we stop dreaming beyond this and we don't go to the last box, which we are all meant to be. Because we're going to make a difference to society and system, because that is where our heart lies and that is where our dreams lie. But at times we see that we stop in the box which I left there, empty box, and we say that, okay, the life is over because I become somebody today. But there's much more to each one of us that you can go and create an interesting box. I have a simple question to all of you. do you want to stand on your own leg or do you want to stand on somebody else's leg? And there's a question which you have probably answered now and forever. And when you can answer this question, I'm sure you're going to create a last interesting box and going to create an impact. So I did a lot of research to understand when students used to ask me, what does it takes to be successful? A very difficult question. Very simple question, but a very difficult to answer this question. So I identified over, like, say about 7 years, what are the skills that might require people. I was trying to talk to a lot of people who are recruiting on campus recruitment, trying to give offer to the job. They told me various parameters which they assess. But I found that there are 6 skills, according to me, which they will make difference to your career and you're going to be successful in this career. The first one. Okay. So I'll ask you a very question is this. When is the first time you learned to write how to write? When is the first time you learned to write how to write? Yeah, probably in first grade, second grade, 10th grade, still continue to learn to write. That means the first time you learn to write, perhaps most of the time, it is the last time you learn to write how to write. I repeat again, the first time we learn to write, perhaps it was the last time we learned to write how to write. And this has led to a lot of challenges. So people who have a great writing skills, who work towards becoming a great writer, need not be publish a book or need not you do something out of it, but you learn to write, you're going to make a lot of difference to your careers and jobs. Because when you write, you are forced to read, you have no choice, you have to do it, because you're going to write things. And when you write, you also think. But when you read, you may not do otherwise. But when you write, you're going to do this. So I found if you want to be successful in a career and you want jobs and roles, your writing skills are very important to move to various roles. And this form of communication is very important in the present today and probably going to continue for many years more. Whether it is a print media or digital media, your writing skills are going to take you forward. The second one. Second one is the presentation skills. Though it looks very simple, somebody might say, when I ask students what is presentation skills, they typically say to make a presentation like this, or speak to the audience, or convey your ideas and things like this. But I'm going to try to give you a different perspective or view to this, is this. Have you seen a warrior, at least in movies? And we always see that in a war, there are two people, right? One loses and one wins. Why not both wins and both lose? Because typically we believe there is a strategy, but in other way, the strategy is nothing but a weakness of the one player compared to over other warrior. That means one is going to win and one is going to lose. So in simple words, I'm asking you this. How many of us go to our classes or workplace like a warrior every day? That means you get up in the morning, 4 o'clock, get ready, 5 o'clock, no smiles. 6 o'clock, oh God save this country. 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock. That means if you don't go as a warrior, prepare your classes or your workplaces, typically you will never be able to work on your presentation skills because this needs a lot of preparation, not just going and saying, let's war. Typically in India, I see a lot of students come to class like this. Sir, take class. Because that is how they believe, that because attendance is important and their hands and legs are present. The brains may not be present. So if people don't prepare a lot for a presentation, it's very difficult to do even say a word or 2 words, a few lines. So somebody has to work really hard on this part. Third one. This is a vast subject in itself. It's very subjective. But to tell you in a layman words, a communication skills according to me is this. Can you be an assertive communicator who will communicate, trying to keep all the social dimension into picture? You're going to cover various points. You're not going to hurt somebody's feelings, but you're trying to make sure that the message is covered. And there's a very interesting and there's a very detailed subject which somebody has to go through it. Unfortunately, these academics don't cover this. Families many times they don't teach unless you have been brought up by particular kind of system where communication skills are taught very high. But if it's a very small nuclear family, it's difficult to children to learn communication skills. So there has to be a way out where children learn to understand how do I communicate with everybody. Fourth one. If you want to be a specialist, if you want to grow in your jobs and career, you need to identify one particular thing which you love doing it. And that will take you forward all the time. You need to specialize in one area, and you cannot say that I don't want to specialize in anything. Generalist may be okay for some roles and some years, but not going to take it forward long. So you need to find one area which you're going to stress and work towards it. I identified that the projects, assignments, internships, all should belong to you, not somebody else. When I say this, typically I see in Indian context that when I give an assignment to students, and I see the same assignment by everybody else. Means everybody is busy copying from one to other, and that assignment is submitted. I'll tell you a very interesting incident which happened to me. There are 6 girls who came with an assignment and they showed me. I said, what is this? They said, sir, assignment. I said, I know, but what is this? I said, sir, assignment, sir. Again they said. I said, how come your assignment is same like her and her assignment is like same like her and everyone's assignment is same like everyone? So they said, well, students generally don't want to redo things. So they said, sir, we did a group assignment, we discussed. I said, no, I told you do an individual assignment because if I want to see a different perspective about the given problem. But they kept arguing with me because they didn't want to redo the work, as simple as that. So I got a little annoyed as a teacher, even we have patience. So I looked into student and I said, a very interesting thing. Your husband is your husband, not somebody else's husband. So what I'm trying to say, a sarcastic comment was this, that it's important that when somebody is given you a work, that you bring a newer dimension to the work. And you're trying to tell to the world that I found something, maybe one line or one word or few sentences that was very different in the way you communicate in internships or assignments or projects. And it's important that you take accountability, you take ownership when something is offered to you as a learning process. The last one is other academic activities. This is something which you probably have to do, something like organizing an event like this or various other events which you need to work on. And you need to find a ways of learning other skills which otherwise the college doesn't give you. But having said this, we all are lured by shortcut success. How many of you want to become successful very soon? I wanted to be very successful very soon. Can you raise your hand? Nobody. I'm surprised. I wanted to be like God, make me something tomorrow. Yeah. So let me show you some shortcut method success. People generally try to become somebody. That is first one, very interesting. I tried this for many years. Nothing happened in my life. Neither I got a girlfriend, neither got a boyfriend. So very interesting. Nobody is inspired. I'm seeing some people are smiling. The boy need not be rich. The father has to be rich. And the problems are solved. So the second people try often, which is very famous in many countries, is this. Show your palm and then ask your future from the people. Or ask a parrot, pick your card and tell what is future. So very interesting. Nobody's trying this. You should be inspired by this. Third one is very interesting. But one risk, but life will become zingalala in case you try this. But don't worry, even if you get caught by police, you'll still be famous. And when you come out of police from the jail, you'll still be famous. Because you'll be named as one of famous notorious person. Very interesting. And you can also tell in the jail that, see how famous I am. I'm covered by media every day. Nobody's trying? Oh, I'm very sad. Okay. Fourth one. Don't need qualification in many countries to become politician. That's the best thing in the world. For all other things, everybody asks you qualification. But whereas you want to become politician, no, nothing is required. You have to just raise your voice, stand on the road and shout, and then you are going to start a business as a politics. I was thinking in my life, if I have to become successful very soon and fast, how do I become? And I was trying to find a formula for my own life. And last one is my one. You should not copy it, as copyrights are there. Yeah, it's a very famous thing. You become a saint and then come back to same college and preach. Why do you want to study all this? See my life. I have so many followers. India is a very famous business for this. And you should find a country which will allow you to become a saint. And then you can have your own philosophy of life. What I'm trying to say and conclude on this particular thing is this. It is hard to dream and it is hard to aspire them, but it is possible. And I'm sure there are a lot of examples which I showed you and which probably you have come across. The people have done great things in their life. I would like to say and conclude this is several dreams, several ideas fail in mind, but not on paper. And it's up to you whether you want to fail them on mind or on paper, which you need to decide. I hope you had message to carry here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Santa. Well, we all got some new ideas there, didn't we? I think I myself, I'll apply those rules and hopefully my grades will get better, I hope. So, what did Santa just share with us? Sometimes we may feel like we've got so much to do, so many things to do at the same time. I've been in that situation. I'm pretty sure you have. Actually, just last night I was sitting down wondering, okay, when is this pack of papers, finally going to disappear? And the answer is not anytime soon, unless I apply some discipline into my life. As Santa just clearly shared with us, in order to succeed, we need to have a few rules, a few guidelines where we can base our schedule upon. And Santa has taken those rules and he's applied them to his own life. And as you can see, it's done some good stuff. He's appeared on London Bridge, so that's a dream come true. In addition to this, Santa's ideas are really unique in the sense that they can be used as a guide, not just for himself, but Santa has generalized them so that you, yourself, can apply them in your quest to find your true self and your purpose as well. Right, everyone? We've just spent the better part of an hour learning and sharing ideas on how we can become successful. But it's time to throw a little spanner in the works. Up next, we've got something different. Rather than a talk, we've got a video presented by Larry Smith. And interestingly enough, the video is titled, "Why You Will Fail to Have a Good Career." That's odd, isn't it? We've just spent an hour understanding why and how we can succeed, but now I'm telling you that I'm going to give you a video on how you're going to fail. So that's a bit weird. Well, after the video, you will see exactly why Larry Smith believes that sometimes we can fail to have a great career. And this will, again, reinforce our strengths and reinforce our understanding of ourselves. Without further ado, Larry Smith.
I want to discuss with you this afternoon why you're going to fail to have a great career. I'm an economist. I do dismal. End of the day, it's ready for dismal remarks. I only want to talk to those of you who want a great career. I know some of you have already decided you want a good career. You're going to fail too, because goodness, you're all cheery about failing. Canadian group, undoubtedly. Those trying to have good careers are going to fail because really good jobs are now disappearing. There are great jobs and great careers, and then there are the high workload, high stress, blood-sucking, soul-destroying kinds of jobs, and practically nothing in between. So the people looking for good jobs are going to fail. I want to talk about those looking for great jobs, great careers, and why you're going to fail. First reason is that no matter how many times people tell you, if you want a great career, you have to pursue your passion, you have to pursue your dreams, you have to pursue the greatest fascination in your life. You hear it again and again, and then you decide not to do it. It doesn't matter how many times you download Stephen Jay's Stanford commencement address, you still look at it and decide not to do it. I'm not quite sure why you decide not to do it. You're too lazy to do it. It's too hard. You're afraid if you look for your passion and don't find it, you'll feel like you're an idiot. So then you make excuses about why you're not going to look for your passion. And they are excuses, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go through a whole long list. Your creativity and thinking of excuses not to do what you really need to do if you want to have a great career. So for example, one of your great excuses is, well, great careers are really and truly, for most people, just a matter of luck. So I'm going to stand around, I'm going to try to be lucky, and if I'm lucky, I'll have a great career. If not, I'll have a good career. But a good career is an impossibility, so that's not going to work. Then your other excuse is, yes, there are special people who pursue their passions, but they are geniuses. They are Stephen Jay. I'm not a genius. When I was 5, I thought I was a genius, but my professors have beaten that idea out of my head long since. And now I know I am completely competent. Now, you see, if this was 1950, being completely competent, that would have given you a great career. But guess what? This is almost 2012, and saying to the world, I am totally, completely competent, is damning yourself with the faintest of praise. And then, of course, another excuse. Well, I would do this, but, well, after all, I'm not weird. Everybody knows that people who pursue their passions are somewhat obsessive, a little strange. Okay, you know, a fine line between madness and genius. I'm not weird. I've read Stephen Jay's biography. Oh, my goodness. I'm not that person. I am nice. I am normal. I'm a nice, normal person, and nice, normal people don't have passion. But I still want a great career. I'm not prepared to pursue my passion, so I know what I'm going to do, because I have a solution. I have a strategy. It's the one Mommy and Daddy told me about. Mommy and Daddy told me that if I worked hard, I'd have a good career. So if you work hard and have a good career, if you work really, really, really hard, you'll have a great career. Doesn't that, like, mathematically make sense? Not. But you've managed to talk yourself into that. You know what? Here's a little secret. You want to work? You want to work really, really, really hard? You know what? You'll succeed. The world will give you the opportunity to work really, 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 really hard. But are you so sure that that's going to give you a great career when all the evidence is to the contrary? So let's deal with those of you who are trying to find your passion. You actually understand that you really had better do it. Never mind the excuses. You're trying to find your passion, and you're so happy. You found something you're interested in. I have an interest. You tell me. You say, I have an interest. I say, that's wonderful. And what are you trying to tell me? Well, I have an interest. I say, do you have a passion? I have an interest, you say. Your interest is compared to what? Well, I'm interested in this. And what about the rest of humanity's activities? I'm not interested in them. You've looked at them all, have you? No, not exactly. Passion is your greatest love. Passion is the thing that will help you create the highest expression of your talent. Passion, interest, it's not the same thing. Are you really going to go to your sweetie and say, marry me? You are interesting. Won't happen, and you will die alone. What you want is passion. It is beyond interest. You need 20 interests. And then one of them might be grab you. One of them might engage you more than anything else. And then you may have found your greatest love in comparison to all the other things that interest you. And that's what passion is. Now, that friend proposed to his sweetie. He was an economically rational person. He said to his sweetie, let us marry. Let us merge our interests. Yes, he did. I love you truly, he said. I love you deeply. I love you more than any other woman I've ever encountered. I love you more than Mary, Jane, Susie, Penelope, Ingrid, Gertrude, Gretel. I was on a German exchange program then. I love you more than All right. She left the room halfway through his enumeration of his love for her. After he got over his surprise at being, turned down, he concluded he'd had a narrow escape from marrying an irrational person. Although he did make a note to himself that the next time he proposed, it was perhaps not necessary to enumerate all of the women he had auditioned for the part. But the point stands. You must look for alternatives so that you find your destiny. Or are you afraid of the word destiny? Does the word destiny scare you? That's what we're talking about. And if you don't find the highest expression of your talent, if you settle for interesting, what the hell ever that means, do you know what will happen at the end of your long life? Your friends and family will be gathered in the cemetery, and there, beside your grave site, will be a tombstone, and inscribed on that tombstone of it will say, "Here lies a distinguished engineer who invented Velcro." But what that tombstone should have said in an alternative lifetime, what it should have said if it was your highest expression of talent, was, "Here lies the last Nobel laureate in physics, who formulated the grand unified field theory and demonstrated the practicality of warp drive." Velcro indeed. One was a great career. One was a missed opportunity. But then there are some of you, in spite of all these excuses, you will find your passion, and you'll still fail. You're going to fail because you're not going to do it, because you have invented a new excuse, any excuse to fail to take action. And this excuse I've heard so many times. Yes, I would pursue a great career, but a value. Human relationships, more than accomplishment. I want to be a great friend. I want to be a great spouse. I want to be a great parent. And I will not sacrifice them on the altar of great accomplishment. What do you want me to say? Now, do you really want me to say now, tell you, really, I swear I don't kick children? Look at the worldview you've given yourself.